This is a 2015 BMW X3. We'll begin the disassembly process by removing the air vent panel here with the start button. Panel comes out forward. There are at least 3 connectors to disconnect. The one for the start and 2 here for the air vent and the emergency light. Now that the air vent panel has been removed, you have the 3 connectors right here, 1, 2, and 3. Go ahead and proceed with removing the panel below the radio panel. There is going to be 1 connector underneath. Go ahead and disconnect that. Next up, let's remove the radio panel. There are 5 screws, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. 4 of them already been removed. We have just the 1 more to remove. These are T20 screws. Once all of them are removed, you can go ahead and remove the panel and disconnect these connectors behind it. Next up, go ahead and let's pull the radio forward. There are going to be 4 T20 screws, so go ahead and take those off. That will release the radio. Once you have access to the back side of the radio, go ahead and locate the main harness behind the radio and disconnect it. Next, let's work with the screen. We will have to remove it. There are also 2 T20 screws there and there that you're going to have to remove. Screen this out and go ahead and disconnect the LVDS behind the monitor. Next, let's work with the main CarPlay radio harness, which is this one right here. Find this end right here that connects to the CarPlay module. We're gonna route that behind these panels so it can end up here. This is where we're gonna place the CarPlay module, so you'll need to route it up through into this area. Now the CarPlay harness, its connector right here has been routed through to the top area behind the monitor. So let's go ahead and work down back here again. Find the OEM harness. Disconnect the fiber optical cable that is currently found in the harness itself. just has a little tab that will release it. And once you have it released, go ahead and connect the fiber optical cable to our harness. Find the aux portion of the main CarPlay harness and go ahead and tape it up. It's no longer going to be needed because we're going to tap into aux behind the radio. So just go ahead and tape up this portion so it is out of your way. Tuck it into an area where it's not going to be in the way of anything else. Let's work with the harnesses again. Here is the CarPlay harness. Go ahead and connect that to the factory harness as shown here. We've already done that step for you. And then the other end, go ahead and connect that to the factory head unit. Once the harnesses are connected, go ahead and put the radio back into position. You should have enough space behind the head unit for those harnesses to fit behind it. Next, let's work with the Wi-Fi antenna. There is double-sided tape to allow you to stick it anywhere in the car. Just make sure it's not obstructed by any heavy metal or plastic, so it's not the signal doesn't get obstructed by anything. But go ahead and mount it anywhere. In our case, we're going to mount it up here, so it's not in the way. Next up, we're going to work with the CarPlay USB cable. This is the CarPlay USB/video cable. Grab the USB portion of it, the USB end. We're going to route it through into the glove box area. There is a little cover there where it can come out of. That way the customer can connect to the USB for wired connection. Make sure this USB is accessible to the customer, so you can place it again anywhere you want, but in our case we're going to place it in here in the glove box compartment. Now that the CarPlay USB cable is routed in through here, go ahead and let's work now on splicing the two ground wires together. You'll find one ground wire coming off of the CarPlay USB/video cable and the other ground wire coming off of the CAN connector end from the main radio harness. Go ahead and splice these two ground wires together. Now that your ground wires are spliced, let's go ahead and work with the dipswitch settings on the CarPlay module. For this car, we have set 1 and 2 in the on position as shown in the installation diagram, 3 in the on position for the screen size. The rest of them are all off by default except for number 8. 8 is depending on whether we use the original mic or an external mic, but we're using the original mic in this car. Again, for the proper dip switch settings for the vehicle, please refer to the installation manual, which features a diagram, and it also contains the dip switch settings for the particular car year model that you're working with. Next up, let's go ahead and connect all of our connections to the CarPlay module. Let's start with the Wi-Fi antenna, which will connect to that port right there. Next one is the USB camera port, which is the CarPlay USB/video cable that we were working with earlier. So go ahead and connect that there. Let's connect the LVDS cables. Find the original LVDS connector and connect that to LVDS in. Find our CarPlay LVDS cable which is this one right here, and connect the straight end of it to the LVDS out port. The 90-degree connector is going to connect to the original monitor. Now that it's connected, lastly, we'll connect the CAN power cable. Remember to leave that for last. If you haven't set up the dipswitch settings, please go ahead and set the dipswitch settings before you connect the CAN power. For protection purposes, go ahead and add foam tape to the top and bottom. Do not cover up the air vent panels on the side to allow for ventilation inside of the module. So don't cover those up, just put a plastic foam piece on the top and one at the bottom. Finally, go ahead and once the foam tapes are applied to the top and the bottom, go ahead and position the module. Again, there should be enough space behind the original monitor, and leave the LVDS cable out so that way you can connect that to the original monitor. Go ahead and connect the CarPlay LVDS cable to the OEM monitor, and now you can position the monitor back into its place. Now that everything's put back together, let's go ahead and test the CarPlay. Let's turn on the car. I'm going to be testing today with iPhone. So we'll grab our USB cable. I'm using an aftermarket cable. I recommend using the original lightning cable for the best results when it comes to wired connection, but this one works fine. Remember, we put the USB in the glove box, so we're going to connect the cable here. Close up the glove box. Connect the other end to my phone. As soon as you do that, you'll see that the phone starts charging. The screen will switch over on its own. It's going to ask, do you want to allow CarPlay with GP Link while the phone is locked? That's a privacy question. Up to you how you want to answer it. I'm going to press allow for now. You want to use wireless. This is where the end user has the option to select wireless CarPlay or wired CarPlay with USB only. So as a manufacturer, we always recommend USB only. This is a more stable connection, less factors affecting the connection, but we can also use wireless. So I'm going to demonstrate with wireless today. I'll make a note with the end users. I would have, if they want to use wireless CarPlay, I would have the primary driver use wireless, and on all other drivers, let them connect wired. So that way phones aren't competing for a wireless connection. It's just less trouble that way. So if you do opt for the wireless connection, leave your phone connected for about 3 to 4 minutes so that the setup can finish. And then after that, you can go ahead and disconnect it. The screen will go away momentarily, but then it'll come back and you'll have wireless CarPlay at that point. While that setup takes place, let's go ahead and test a couple of things here. To navigate, obviously you will use the knob down here. And then if you need to make a selection, you can just press down in the middle and select something here. Go back. So those are a few things. Let's do some setup first. Let's go into exit. We'll scroll over to setup. And let's go to reverse. And let's change this option here, menu key cancel reverse. Let's change it to on. The reason why this is here is because when you put it in reverse and you put it back into park, the reverse camera stays on the screen until you manually turn it off. So you can turn it off by pressing on the menu button or by pressing on the parking assist button right here. It's easier if we just do it from the menu button, so I'll demonstrate that in a little bit. Let's go ahead and press return. Let's also use Car's BT phone. Let's set this to on. And that's pretty much all the configuration we need to do. If you need to mess around with the audio in terms of the music volume, the speech and all of that, you can set that up all here. Don't mess with EQ settings, that will distort the sound. Let's go back. Let's get back into CarPlay. CarPlay's up here, select that. And how do you switch back and forth? Press and hold the menu button right here. So press and the screen will switch. Press again and the screen will switch. So that's how we're able to go back and forth between the two sides. Let's test out the reverse camera. So I'll put it in reverse. Reverse camera works like it did before. And then I'll put it back into park. And then to exit that, like we set it up already, we'll press on the menu. And it'll go back to CarPlay. Let's test the music. The music right now, I'm able to hear that through the car speakers. It's loud, it's clear, there's no distortion because we have those two ground wires spliced into each other. In order for the system to connect to the car speakers, we do need to be in aux mode, so check that. We'll go to multimedia. We'll go to external devices and make sure aux front is selected. We tap into the sound system via the aux. Again, there's no physical connection that we're making to the actual 3.5mm aux. It's all done behind the radio, so that's why we taped up the aux cable and tucked it back in there. Let's also connect my phone so we can test calls. This is gonna take a while because I don't know how to do this. Remove a phone. Delete that one. Let's go to Bluetooth, settings, Bluetooth, BMW. Hope it's not too difficult. Some cars are asked for too much. Okay, pretty straightforward. And now we're connected, so we should be good to go. Press. We don't need audio. App not installed. The accessory BMW MBT would like to use ignore. We're not using that. So let's press OK for now. It paused my music. Why did you do that? We're still in aux, so maybe I just need to switch back into CarPlay and press play again. Okay. Let's test Siri. Scroll over to that icon right there. Press and hold. Hey Siri, take me to the nearest gas station.
The closest one I see is Valero on Red Hill Avenue. Want to try that one?
Yes.
Getting directions to Valero.
It's using the original microphone in the car. There's no external microphone.
Starting route to Valero.
Okay, so we have that done.
Proceed to Red Hill Avenue, then turn left.
Let me cancel this route. I don't need it. Let's go over how to make and receive phone calls. Phone calls, we wanted to go through the original Bluetooth. That's why we paired on to the BMW Bluetooth. So in order to make a call, use the Siri button right here. So I'll go to that. Hey Siri, call 714-258-0400.
Calling +1 714-258-0400.
So it's making that call. If you needed to check, go to your phone, press on audio, and you'll see that BMW is selected. So if that's selected, you should be fine. Hey, can you do me a quick favor? Can you call me back, please?
Sure.
I appreciate it. Thank you. Bye. So he's gonna call me back to receive calls. there's the answer button over here. So answer that, press on this button right here to take that call. And then you can check back on your phone. It's still going through the BMW Bluetooth. So again, you don't have to look at your phone. It's just, you're just checking to see if it's going through the original Bluetooth. That's it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, bye. He can hear me too, so that's great. I skipped over music, how to control the music. As you can see, we can control the volume here. And we can control the volume through here. And then to switch tracks, because it's CarPlay, we do have to switch tracks through here. There's no option to do it from here. So next track, previous track. So that's how to control the music. Let's test the wireless connection. So I'm gonna go ahead and disconnect. It should reconnect in a few moments here. Make sure both your Bluetooth and Wi-Fi are on. And then once it makes that connection, you'll see the little Apple CarPlay logo show up there, and then it should automatically load. Give it about 10-15 seconds. If it doesn't make a connection, that means the setup hasn't finished. So we'll reconnect it because I don't think it properly set up yet. We'll leave it connected for like about another minute. But let me just demonstrate to you because it eventually will connect wirelessly. Once it does, again, it will go back to this screen. And then that logo will show up, and then it'll just show up on its own. You don't have to do anything. You turn off the car, get out of it, get back into it about 4 or 5 minutes later. When you turn on the car, the wireless will connect on its own. So you don't have to manually press any buttons. When you are ready and you've tested everything, we'll need to obviously have the CarPlay system forget about a phone so that way the customer can connect to it. I do just want to let it finish setting up the wireless, so we'll give it another minute or so. Let's see. Just to recap here, CarPlay and Android Auto, the system is capable of both those two. I think there's nothing else to really go through. Let's try the wireless connection again. I may have been too impatient. We probably need to leave it on for longer. Yeah, we probably need to leave it on for longer. But that's fine. At the end of the day, once everything's been fully tested, then let's go ahead and delete everything. We'll go into CarPlay, press on BT reset, press OK. That will have the CarPlay system forget about all wireless connections. And then you'll go on to your phone, go find General, CarPlay, and then find GP Link and press on Forget This Car. Go ahead and forget about the other CarPlays as well. But it's a two-step process. Also, go back into the OEM side, delete your phone from the Bluetooth, and then you will be good to go to deliver the car back to the customer. When we were setting up the wireless, I said we should leave our phones connected with the USB for about 3 to 4 minutes. I think it's been enough time, so let's go ahead and disconnect it and test the wireless. So as soon as you disconnect your phone, it will go back to that menu here, but then the little Apple CarPlay logo will show up here, and we will have wireless CarPlay at that point.